Good morning. This is Jimmy Skogard, and I'm going to talk about the talent we hold in trust. This morning, I'm thinking about a shovel. The shovel cuts a post hole, it clears a ditch, it plants a tree, and shapes a foundation. It also reminds me that something valuable can be hidden in the ground instead of being put to work. That is an image that stays with me from the parable of the talents. A master entrusts 3 servants with what he has. 2 put it to work. 1 buries it in the ground. That 3rd servant does not steal, he does not squander, but he chooses safety. He hides what was given to him. He keeps it untouched, and in doing so he fails. That is the warning to us. Stewardship is putting what we have to work with wisdom, courage, and accountability, so that what we pass on is stronger than what we received. That lesson matters for our households, it matters for our children, it matters for our state, and it matters for all of us right now. We hold real talents in trust. We hold our land, our water, and our mineral wealth. We hold a permanent mineral trust fund built from the labor and sacrifice of those who came before us. We hold our schools, our roads, and our communities. We hold a culture that still knows how to show up for a neighbor when the wind is up and the work is hard. Most of all, we hold a duty to the children who come after us. That is the heart of stewardship. We are here to strengthen the beams. We are here to add a room to the house. We are here to leave better soil, better habits, better system, and better character than what we found. That is why this parable hits us so hard. Too often we confuse preservation with stewardship of our representative democracy demands. We, yes, us together, not look away as the integrity and character of our great nation is allowed to slip into a quiet past, while we bull into a troubled future. Preservation says, do not lose it. Stewardship says, make it better. Preservation says, hold the line. Stewardship says, build for the future. Preservation says, avoid the risk. Stewardship says, take the right risk for the right reason, with our eyes open. That difference matters because our nation is drifting into dangerous water. Total U.S. public debt has now moved past $39 trillion, and the debt held by the public is roughly the size of the whole economy. The Congressional Budget Office warns it will keep rising in the years ahead. This calls us to stop pretending that endless drift is a plan. When Washington refuses discipline, the consequences do not stay there. They land here. They land in our food prices, our health care costs, our mortgage rates, our equipment loans, and the cost of raising our families. The pressure always rolls downhill, and when it does, our households feel it first. That is why stewardship is practical. It is a lesson anchored in our real lives. It is the question of whether we are preparing Wyoming to stand steady when the ground shifts under the country. No one knows exactly how the next decade will unfold. No one can promise the precise path of inflation, interest rates, or the dollar. But we do know this. Families and states that think ahead will weather uncertainty better than those that drip. Debt held by the public is already about 101% of GDP here in 2026, and we see the projections to keep climbing because our country is set on its current course. Our representatives and senators do not have the will to change. We then, the citizens, must act as the stewards and rise to face the challenges facing us. So what does stewardship look like for us at home? It means we stop thinking only in election cycles and we start thinking in generations, leveraging technology to help leverage our ideas and aggregate our will. It means we ask whether our healthcare system is helping us live well or simply moving us through a billing machine. It means we ask whether our schools are preparing our young people to think, build, lead, and adapt. It means we ask whether we are managing our natural resources with foresight or cashing out pieces of our inheritance for short-term applause. It means we stop acting like maintenance is enough. If all we do is to preserve the structure without improving it, we are burying the talent. Wyoming has shown an instinct for long-range thinking. Our state has built permanent savings and recognized the value of a tangible asset. In 2025, we enacted the Legal Tender Act, and the Treasurer's Office moved toward the required state investment in gold by the start of the year. That is not the whole answer, but it does show an awareness that stewardship requires looking past the next headline and thinking about our resilience. Still, the deeper issue is our character. The question is what we do with what has been entrusted to us. Do we leave our children a stronger state or a more fragile one dressed up with good talking points? Do we hand them healthier communities or higher bills and weaker institutions? Do we leave them with better soil or better trust and better leadership, or do we bury what we had because we were too afraid to act? That is the master's question in the parable. What did you do with what was placed in your hands? I keep coming back to that line because it strips away our excuses. It asks whether we were faithful. It asks whether we served the future. It asks whether we used what we were given with courage and foresight. Wyoming is a living trust. We are its caretakers. We have a duty to improve what we hold. We honor our inheritance by building with integrity. That takes courage. The first two servants in the parable took a risk. They could have failed, and that is part of the story. It's part of our story. Faithful stewardship is careful, but is never frozen. It moves, it builds, it plants, it repairs, it prepares. We need more of that spirit in our public life. We need leadership that understands that stewardship is more than cutting ribbons, balancing optics, or protecting the comfort of the already powerful. Stewardship means tending the whole. It means looking ahead. It means asking what kind of state our children will inherit if we do nothing, and then refusing to do nothing. The future will ask something of us. It will ask whether we buried the talent or whether we used it. Stewardship is about shared responsibility. It's about refusing to leave our children a thinner version of what we were given. We are holding the keys for this moment, but we are also building the foundations for the next house. If you've ever looked at Wyoming and known it is worth more than the short-term politics, this is your moment. Choose stewardship over drift. Choose courage over caution, disguised as wisdom. Choose to build what lasts, because agency means the ability to decide our future for ourselves. We still hold that power, but only if we use it. Our legacy is in our hands now. Please join the movement at ScoGuard2026.org. I'll talk to you tomorrow.